Alright, here we go, coming at you with another video. It is gonna be Life is Strange versus Twin Mirror. And some of you might be thinking like, why are these two titles going head to head? Don't worry, I'll explain it.
Time to kill before the funeral. Might as well spend it here. This place was always one for decisions. Somewhere for things to fall apart. Welcome back to Basswood, Sam.
So if you followed Dontnod after their Life is Strange adventures, because as we all know, they created Life is Strange's 1 and 2, and then mysteriously disappeared from the franchise and no longer make them anymore. But they do still make story-based games. So if you follow Dontnod, you'll know that they made Tell Me Why and a game called Twin Mirror after having developed Life is Strange 2 and finishing that. And then we know Decknine, the people who created Before the Storm, were put in charge of what I'm going to call Life is Strange 3, but is essentially Life is Strange 2 True Colors, the same thing. It's the next main installment in the franchise. But if you're someone who followed Dontnod and someone who followed Life is Strange, you will notice some strange similarities between Twin Mirror and Life is Strange.
I'm not big on speeches. I've always believed that the role of the bartender is to shut up and listen. And by that measure, Gabe was the worst bartender I've ever known.
And so I'm gonna compare the two, put them head to head, and see who did it better. Yeah.
Sorry we lost touch. Sorry I lost touch. Rest up, big guy.
Alright, so it is my belief that the team at Dontnod must have at least had the story down for Life is Strange 3 before parting ways with Square Enix. Because the similarities between Life is Strange True Colors and Twin Mirror, there's just too much there for it to be coincidental, you know? And so starting right off the bat, the very premise of the story. So in Life is Strange True Colors, you have Alex Chen, who's coming to a small town and ultimately is investigating the murder of her brother. I guess it's not really a murder at first, it's a death. So she investigates the death of her brother and discovers it's a murder. And then in Twin Mirror, you have, oh gosh, what is that guy's name? You have Sam, who's returning to his hometown after the death of his best friend, and he initially is only going to show up for the funeral, and then the funeral turns into an investigation because he's an investigative journalist, and he uncovers that his best friend's accidental death is in fact a murder. So boom, it's like the same scenario with two different ways. You have Alex Chen, who investigates her brother's death and discovers a murder. You have Sam, who investigates his best friend's death and discovers that it's not an accident. Now, here's the moment you all have been waiting for. Which game did it better? And I'm going to have to give this one to Life is Strange, purely out of the fact that you actually get to meet Gabe, which makes you care about him a little bit more. Like, I really hated how they handled this. Spoiling that in the trailer was an absolute waste of a really good angle. Like, I would have liked Gabe if I didn't already know he was going to die. So if they hadn't have told me that in the trailer, and I was like, oh wow, this character's great, and then he died, it would have a lot more of an impact. But with Sam's best friend, I can't even remember the guy's name, but with that guy, you literally never met him. You saw him through cutscenes from now and then, but really, you never met the guy. He was a ghost, essentially. And so I would say Life is Strange, by mere technicality, gets the win on that one. So congrats to them. It's 1-0.
Oh yeah, let's rock and roll. I don't know why I said that.
Me neither. But I love the enthusiasm.
All right, moving right along to point number 2, and that is dealing with a mourning widower and their estranged child.
Said no! Fuck, don't you listen?
So in Life is Strange True Colors, Alex Chen gets to deal quite a bit with Charlotte, who was Gabe's girlfriend at the time, and she has a child with another man who is Ethan. And so we get to meet Ethan. He's an absolute wonderful child, one of like the biggest highlights of the game. And we get to meet Charlotte, who's just kind of wishy-washy. I could do with or without her. And then in Twin Mirror, so Sam's best friend who is murdered has a daughter that we refer to as Bug. And he's kind of got two widows that you have to deal with. He's got his ex-wife, who is Bug's mom, that you have to deal with. But he also has Anna, who he was dating, that obviously when he passed away, they stopped dating. But then Sam kind of moves in, but Sam used to be dating her. He was dating her before his best friend was dating her. And then he proposed to her, and she said no, and then he left town. It's a whole big story, okay? But essentially, the same kind of thing. You know, you're dealing with mourning widowers and with the children affected by this person's death. Who did it better? And really, Ethan kind of saved this angle for Life is Strange. In Life is Strange, without Ethan, I would have probably not cared about this angle at all. I don't know, Charlotte just wasn't that important of a character to me. In Twin Mirror, Bug, who is the child that could have saved that, was really just kind of annoying and stubborn, didn't really much care for her at all. The ex-wife wasn't really present at all, and the girlfriend eventually became your girlfriend, so it was a whole different kind of love story. Another point in Life is Strange's corner. So we got Life is Strange True Colors 2, Twin Mirror 0. Let's move on to the next point.
Do you have any idea how far that is?
About 80 miles to get down to my Aunt Lisa?
All right, moving right along to the next point on this list, and we've got the superpowers. So obviously, Alex has this incredible power of empathy where she can like feel other people's emotions and she can take people's emotions and she can make people have emotional breakdowns, and it's supposed to be really cool, but it's really not. I mean, honestly, it's very inconsistent. And like one moment she's like super affected by people's emotions, the next moment it's like not affecting her at all. And it wasn't used very well. The gameplay mechanics behind it, personally, I thought they were pretty dang boring. It was just like, hold A here, hold A there, hold A here. So pretty lame, honestly, like with the way it was executed gameplay-wise. The mind-reading aspect of it was the only really interesting aspect of it. She should have just been a telepath, not an empath, but whatever, that's my personal opinion. And then you move on to Sam from Twin Mirror, and he doesn't have a direct superpower per se. His little mind palace thing and his imaginary doppelganger, I believe, would serve pretty well as a superpower. It's kind of interesting. The mind palace, I feel like, really kind of doesn't do it for me. It was just kind of there, and you go there and you explore stuff and you see memories, and it's, I don't know, it wasn't that well fleshed out. The doppelganger character I thought was fascinating. It was a very interesting concept because the doppelganger essentially represents the opposite side of Sam, like the Sam that Sam maybe wants to be or thinks that he should be but isn't. And I don't know, it's hard to explain, and it's been a minute since I've played the game, but I do remember really liking the doppelganger character.
So either help me or get out of my head. It's your life, Sam. I just live here.
Mind Palace itself was pretty weak. Reviewing it, this is a hard one to give like anyone a definite point to because honestly, like I said, I wasn't overly impressed with either of them. The powers I feel like that Alex Chen had was far too inconsistent and not used very well. And I feel the same way with the Mind Palace. It just missed the mark. I'm going to say that part 2 of Sam's power, the little doppelganger guy, is probably what saved that game. And I will go ahead and give them the point for superpower, but it was a really close battle on that one. So we're down now to Life is Strange 2, Twin Mirror 1. They might be catching up.
Programs meant to help him with his social skills. It could be good for him.
My son is not going to be in some dunce class.
You were there when no one else was. And you've been there every step I've taken since.
Okay, here we go with the fourth piece here. So both of these games take place in a nice little small town. And there's tons of people in this town that you get to try and get along with and make your friends. Yay! No, not yay. So with Life is Strange, yeah, Steph was cool. Yeah, Ryan was cool. The rest of that cast can just kind of be brushed off somewhere else. I really don't care about them. And then you go over to Twin Mirror, and like literally I don't care about anyone in that cast. I don't even know that I care about Sam that much, and he's the main character. So none of the characters from that game really stood out. So once again, it's kind of a which is the lesser of two evils here, and I'll take Alex, Steph, and Ryan, who are three characters that, don't get me wrong, I generally enjoyed. I did really actually enjoy those three characters. I will take those three characters over the entire cast of Twin Mirror any day. So this is a clear, strong point for Life is Strange. It is now, what, 3-1, I believe? Yeah, 3-1.
You have a superpower? You're both fucking with me, right?
I'm not so into calling it a superpower, but all the rest is true.
All right, moving right along, we're going to be talking about the actual towns that these games take place in. So in Twin Mirror, you have Basswood, which is a small mining town where, of course, there's small mining town related issues. So Sam, the main character, wrote an article about how dangerous the working conditions were in that mine. This article ultimately led to the mine being shut down because it was unsafe and the entire town hating him. Yay! And then we move on to Life is Strange, and there was a giant mine collapse in 2008 where like 7 people died, and Jed was painted a hero for saving the people that didn't die, and yet somehow the game goes through and creates like this big cover-up conspiracy for the people who did die, even though it's such a small town that there's no way people wouldn't have noticed that someone died in this mine collapse. Life is Strange, there's too many plot holes with its mine collapse for me to really acknowledge it as a good story piece, like at all. Like I said, a lot of the ending content in Life is Strange depends upon this collapse. You discover that Alex's dad was down there in the collapse and some other people died in this collapse, and ultimately that's what Typhon is covering up. But at the same time, in a town as small as Haven Point, it is almost impossible for me to imagine that 7 people can die in a mining collapse and no one would notice that they're gone. And then no one would piece together, oh, hey, these people disappeared right after the mining collapse and they all worked in the mine. I wonder where they went. Oh, they probably died. And Typhon went through great efforts to cover this up when in fact there should be nothing to cover. While in Twin Mirror, it was much more believable of an angle. Sam's girlfriend's father lost the use of his legs in a mining-related accident, which caused Sam, who is an investigative journalist, to investigate the mine. And when he did so, he discovered that, what do you know, it wasn't that safe of a place. So he wrote up this big ol' article, put all of his time and passion into it, and then the mine got shut down. Yay, Sam wins. But then the town loses like 90% of their jobs, and they're like, wow, Sam, you're a terrible person, and he leaves because he realizes that he ruined things even though he tried to make them better. Twin Mirror definitely gets the point here. Way more compelling of a story aspect than what Life is Strange tried to do with theirs. That leaves us with Life is Strange 3, Twin Mirror 2. Is Twin Mirror gonna catch up? Let's find out.
I'm just doing my job. It's nothing personal.
Looks like you're not the only one who started off on the wrong foot today.
Sorry you had to see that. Some people you just can't reason with. Speaking of, you're still in town.
Alright, so we touched base on the small town conspiracies of these mining towns, and that's gonna lead us directly into the next thing, and that is the big business cover-ups going on. You got some shady stuff going on, big companies be piling all the stuff on top of it to make you blind. Moving right along to Life is Strange, you got Typhon. Typhon right off the bat is portrayed in a pretty crappy way. It is directly shown through the character of Diane, who is seen as kind of wishy-washy at first, but very quickly descends into evil lord of Typhon. Essentially, it's a really good story plot. Like, I love like a good like big company cover up. That's cool and all, but Typhon really doesn't have anything going for it. You know kind of right off the bat that it's a no good company. They've got surveillance cameras in this town for what I don't really know, but they're there. And then on top of all that, you learn that the thing that they're covering up, or at least for me, the thing that they're covering up held no merit whatsoever. So they're apparently trying to cover up this mining collapse of 2008, which killed 7 miners, and they covered it up by painting Jed as a hero and saying that he saved all these people, and really none of it really adds up. So part of the appeal of Haven Springs this whole time is it is that small town where everybody knows everybody and we all get along and we're all one big happy family. And yet you're supposed to let me believe, after I've been learning so much about this town, that there are 7 people who lived here, died in a mine collapse in 2008, which is public knowledge, by the way, and no one's gonna put 2 and 2 together that, these 7 people disappeared after the mine collapse. This mine collapse happened. I wonder if they died because, they worked in the mine, gosh darn it. So for me, it was a good idea. Like I said, I'm a fan of the idea, but really poorly executed. With Twin Mirror, it is a very cliche angle, but at the same time, it at least worked and functioned correctly. So in Twin Mirror, you got Basswood's finest, the police force going at it. Obviously, you don't interact with them too much, but they seem like pretty standard police officers. There's the woman sheriff and some guy that you see a whole bunch. I think his name's Decknine. And as you start to uncover the secrets behind your best friend's murder, you discover some secrets behind the police force. And as it turns out, Decknine is a drug dealer, but because he's also a police officer, he's got like police immunity, and he's dealing drugs and covering up stuff and killing people. And like I said, it's stereotypical, like, oh, the justice system is corrupt. But at least it functions. At least it was a story plot device that isn't fundamentally broken. Definitely giving Twin Mirror a point on this one. That ties it up, ladies and gents. We got 3-3 going on. Who is going to take the lead?
There's always another option.
Almost sounds like you wising up some, Higgs. Doesn't look like you're willing to take the same fall from 2 years ago. Fuck that common good shit, right?
We're just gonna keep things on going here with the betrayal of a trusted ally. So running right along with Life is Strange, True Colors, you got Jed, who's like, heaven was sent to Earth in the form of Santa Claus Minor Man, and my goodness, is Santa Claus Minor Man a nice man. I mean, he let you live in his house for free, he let Gabe live in his house, he's super cool, he gave you a job, he gave you the shirt off his back if he could, gosh darn it, he plays the king in the little LARP section, and he is just a wonderful, fluffy human being. Oh wait, he tried to kill you. Yep, that's right. He's trying to help Typhon cover up the thing that doesn't make any sense to cover up, and the fact that he's a hero but not a hero and he can't live with himself. And so rather than just face the music and just be that guy, he's like, nope, I'm going to shoot you down a mine shaft and you're going to fall to your death, except for you won't because plot armor. Woo! Life is Strange, True Colors, ladies and gentlemen. Not great. That's not even touching base on the fact that this is just a recycle from the twist ending in Life is Strange. Recycling twists in the same franchise is never a good idea, but I'm not going to touch base on that right now because this is neither the time nor the place. Twin Mirror, on the other hand, they got this angle down. Like, you get betrayed by a police officer who was kind of sketch the whole game. Like, he wasn't overly your friend, but he wasn't like your greatest enemy either. He was just kind of there doing his job, like, yeah, I'm a cop, guys, and I'm here to do my job. And then you realize, oh snap, this guy is more than just a cop doing his job. He's a friggin' drug dealer using his like police powers to like do whatever the heck he wants. And that was huge, but that is only the tip of the iceberg. There is so much more going on here when you reach the ending and you figure out that Hugh, the drugstore owner, is also kind of a mob boss who was just like using the police force as like a pawn in his even bigger drug allegation. So it's like double betrayals from double friends, one of which was like not a big shocker, but still a good twist. And the other one made me pull my hair out like, what just happened? Oh my God. Yeah, definitely Twin Mirrors pulling ahead on this one. We got 3-4 going. Who's next?
The night of the Spring Fest, Ryan made a strong case for why I should stay in Haven. The idea of making this place my home. It seemed nice.
All right, we're roaring into the last topic here on this comparison as we talk about the endings of both of these games. Can Life is Strange grab the point and tie this up? And if it ties up, how am I gonna break the tie? Because you know I didn't make this video to just be like, oh, they're just equally that good. Nope, I ain't wishy-washy. So here we go. So the ending comes down to essentially two choices. I call it the clash. Should I stay or should I go? So, what I'm talking about here, Life is Strange True Colors, comes down to an essential Two-option choice. Stay in Haven Point and live your life out exactly how Ghost Gabe told you it was going to pan out because he tells you the entire ending before you even pick it. What a waste of my time. Thank you very much. Or leave that town and try to pursue your music career, which if we're being honest, your music career doesn't really seem that promising considering the fact you really haven't been doing anything musically speaking anyway. So you get kind of a pointless choice where one option is explained entirely to you while one option is left entirely ambiguous, and you pick the ambiguous option thinking maybe you'll get it explained. By picking it, no, it remains ambiguous. This game essentially has 1.5 endings, one ending that's fully fledged out and tells you exactly what to do, and then another ending that's just like, if you pick this, who knows what happens, it's fate and reality, and they're trying to be fancy with it, but it's really just kind of stupid. I want closure, goddammit. And so moving right along to Twin Mirror, Twin Mirror right off the bat has more options than Life is Strange has. It still is the same concept of should I stay or should I go, but there's 4 variants here. So if you don't discover the second twist, which is Hugh being the mobster man running Basswood, then you stay just for the idea of staying with Anna and doing wonderful things with her, or you go for the idea of just moving on with your life and continuing to leave Basswood in the past. And then if you do discover the evil mastermind that is Hugh the mob man, then you can either stay and try and stick it to Hugh and show him that you're not going to be pushed around, or you can go and Hugh is going to financially make sure that Anna and her family is well taken care of. It's kind of a bribery situation. I wish I could just leave town on my own terms and be like, you know what? I don't care about you. I don't care about her. I do care about me, and I'm out of here. Peace, deuces, you know? But no. At least there's 4 options here, and the options are determined by things that you do in the game as to whether or not you discover Hugh or you don't discover Hugh. I mean, it's pretty obvious at this point. Definitely giving it to Twin Mirror here, which keeps Twin Mirror in the lead, 3-5. I'm not necessarily trying to say here that Twin Mirror is definitely the better game, but it at least tells this very similar story in a slightly better way than Life is Strange did. Life is Strange just came short one too many times for its own good. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know the comparisons you made between the two. If you haven't played them both, maybe now you want to. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.
So,
I wasn't sure you'd show up at all.
I meant to get here before, but